Hello, everyone. How are you tonight? I hope you are having a great night. It's later than I expected it to be when I came live, so I apologize for that. For those of you who have already gone to bed and catch this in the recording, and hopefully some of you guys are still awake to actually catch me live tonight, because I'm about an hour later than I usually like to be. But I didn't want to go live, or I didn't want to go to bed without coming live and saying hello tonight. So if you are on here live and you're grabbing this now, go ahead and give me a hashtag live so I can know that you're here. And if you pick this up in the replay, give me a hashtag replay, just so I can know who's watching, who's listening, what kind of impact I'm making, because I'm actually considering totally shifting my live times. I've been enjoying going live late at night like this. Not quite this late. This is later than I want to be, but I've enjoyed going live at night. But if I have more people that want to listen during the day, then maybe I'm going to shift my times around. So give me some feedback if you like the nighttime lives, or if you prefer if I go live during the day, or if you catch this in the replay. All that information is really, really helpful for me, because I do this so that hopefully I can spread information and spread help to you, because that's really my goal, right, is to help people get healthy and change their lives and be able to pass on some good information. So I can see a couple people are rolling in here now. So if you're on here live, give me a hashtag live. Hey, Kaylee, thank you for letting me know you're on, because I can see a number, but I can only see two faces up at the top. But I can see that there are a lot more than that of you guys on here. So tonight I want to talk to you about an idea, right? An idea of the drunk monkey. I don't know, if that's what drew you in when you saw my title. What does your drunk monkey say to you? But I always talked about, for a long time I've been talking about the monkey that's chirping in the back of our heads. And the other night I was actually on a training call, and the person running the training call referred to this monkey not just as the monkey in the back of the head telling us all kinds of garbage, but the drunk monkey telling us all kinds of garbage. And I thought it was hysterical, and I've adopted this saying, and I've been using it all week with my clients, with my kids, with everybody. And it really rings so true. And so I wanted to throw this out to you, right? That drunk monkey, what is the drunk monkey? The drunk monkey is that voice in the back of your head that is telling you whatever, it's a bunch of BS, right? And it's lying to you, right? Maybe it's telling you that food that's in your kitchen is really okay to have, right? Or maybe it's telling you that food is okay because you're never going to achieve your goals, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Or maybe it's telling you that you can't really accomplish something, right? It's telling you all kinds of crazy things. And really, that drunk monkey is our ego. That's really what it is. But when we think of it as a drunk monkey, right, we can then turn around and tell it to be quiet, right? We can say, you're wrong, you're just drunk, and you have no idea what you're talking about, right? So I actually had this conversation with a client the other day who was, she's doing awesome. She's on this amazing journey, really, really successful, but she started getting some things in her head where she was starting self-doubt for no real reason, right? She was doing great. But that self-doubt started ringing in, and she started relaying some of these thoughts that she was having. And that was when I said to her, I was like, you need to tell your drunk monkey just to be quiet. And she started laughing, and she said, oh my gosh, right? Because that's exactly what it is. It's that drunk monkey telling you all kinds of crazy things, convincing you of the things that things you want to hear, right? Okay, this drunk monkey can be even the voice that is, sometimes I get this voice, right? I walk to go get my kids in the afternoons, and there are some days that I'm just tired, or I just, whatever. And I think to myself, oh, do I really want to walk, right? And that drunk monkey starts telling me all these reasons in the back of my head why I don't want to take my walk. But I know that as soon as I get out there, I love my walk. I cherish my walk. I love it. I love that time on my way to school to get my kids. I love the time once I grab them to walk with them and to laugh and to play and to listen to music and whatever we do, right? It's different every day, right? And I love it. I cherish that time. But sometimes I'm sitting here working on something, and it means I can wait another 5 minutes before I leave, or whatever it is. So that drunk monkey starts telling me all these things in the back of my head as to why I'm better off if I don't walk, right? And I have to tell it to be quiet. That's not really true. It's not the case. And we all have to do that. We all have to start thinking when we're hearing these crazy stories in our heads, we have to stop take a step back and say, is this real? Is this really the truth? Is this really going to serve me to act in this way, whether it's eating something I shouldn't eat, whether it's not believing in myself, right? Whether it's doing something that I shouldn't do, right? And really ask, is this the best solution? And what's going to go wrong, right? Sometimes that voice says, oh, well, it's all going to go bad if you go do that, right? How many times have those things gone through our heads? And stopping and asking yourself, if I make this choice, what's the worst thing that can happen, right? And shifting that, right? So many times I hear from people, well, if I do that, well, what if it doesn't work? Or what if I fail, right? Those questions have to be reversed. But what if you succeed? What if it does work? What if you do feel better, right? All those things. We have to switch that. We have to tell that drunk monkey to be quiet and flip it to the positive, to the what ifs and positives. And when we start doing that, we can totally change our lives, right? We can totally feel so much better. I have never once, when I've stopped to say, oh, maybe I shouldn't walk to school, never once have I regretted the decision to walk to go get my kids. Never, ever, ever. Nothing has ever gone bad with that, right? What could go bad besides, really, what could go bad? As long as I remember to bring my kids a snack. If I walk out of the house without a snack, then it can go bad. Because not only I walk to go get my 2 kids at the elementary school, and then we take them and we walk over to the middle school and we pick up my other daughter and then we walk home. So we have a nice big triangle that for me, the walk it's almost a mile to the elementary school, and it's probably close to a mile from the elementary school to the middle school, and then it's about a mile and a half back from the middle school back home. So it's a nice little triangle that I make, right? But my kids, my 2 youngers are walking 2.5 miles basically, that to get my middle daughter, or to get my eldest and to walk home, right? So if I don't have a snack, then that can go bad. But otherwise, right, nothing can go bad. Nothing can really go wrong, right, by that plan. And usually, almost everything that we worry about going wrong never happens. Have you ever realized that? Have you ever paid attention to that? The things that you worry most about in your life, right? That might drive you to stress eating, that might drive you to emotional eating, that might drive you whatever, they don't usually go wrong. It usually is fine, right? Unless we make it go wrong, unless we worry so much about it that we become a self-fulfilling prophecy. But generally, those things go just fine. Nothing is ever as bad as we expect it to be, which is why we need to tell that voice in the back of our heads to just be quiet, right? To just stop talking, right? And what it really is, like I said before, is it's the ego. It's our ego talking, and the way our ego works, and I find this so fascinating, and I've learned this several times from several different places. The way our ego works is our ego always wants to be right. That drunk monkey wants to be right, always, right? So it's going to tell you things. That ego is going to tell you things based on your past experiences. So the more times you feed into it, it's going to continue to tell you that. So, right, so if that drunk monkey says, well, go ahead and eat it because you're going to eat it anyway, right? If we're talking about food, you're going to eat it anyway because you always do. Go ahead and eat it anyway, right? And it talks you into it, right? When you cave to it, the ego says, woohoo, or the drunk monkey says, woohoo, see, I told you I was right. And it feeds that. It feeds that ongoing. So then the next time you're challenged with that, it says, see, I was right the last time. So it keeps telling you that. But if you combat it, if you fight through that and say, no, be quiet, drunk monkey. Be quiet, ego. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to win this, right? And you don't cave to that, right? When I don't listen and pick up my car keys and drive, but I actually walk to pick up my kids. When I don't cave and walk downstairs and find the candy that's hidden in the basement, right? When I don't cave and go in and pull the peanut butter off the shelf with a spoon, okay? These are all things that I really struggle with, right? When I don't cave to that, then the ego says, I was wrong. I don't like being wrong, right? And then the next day when it happens again, if I am able to stop it again and fight against it again, the ego says, no, I don't like being wrong, right? And after a certain number of times, there's no set number of times, but after a handful of times, all of a sudden the ego starts saying, don't have that because I don't want to be wrong. You've proven me wrong too many times, so now I'm going to start giving you the opposite information. You really don't want that. You really don't want that. And it switches, right? And it makes this change, and then it starts telling you, because again, it doesn't want to be wrong. So it starts telling you the pattern that you're going to go, and you can set that up, right? And that's how you quiet that drunk monkey in the back of your head, is by proving it wrong over and over and over again. Now, that's not to say that it's not going to start telling you other crazy things, because it will. And it's not to say that you're not going to be challenged with those same crazy things again, because you will be. Over and over and over. But the more times that you beat that challenge, the more times you tell it to be quiet, and the more times you're successful with it, the less and less it's going to talk. You're going to squash that voice, right? And that's why I really love this concept of calling it the drunk monkey instead of calling it the ego. Because when you call it the ego, it's harder to tell it to be quiet. But when you're thinking of a drunk monkey, it's pretty easy to tell it to shut up, right? And I don't usually use those words, but it's really, but those are the proper words, right? When you got a drunk monkey, you just got to tell it to shut up. Stop talking. Stop, right? And that's where we pull our life back together. That's where we stop the bad, or get a better handle on the bad habits. We're going to struggle with them, right? If that's your really bad habit, that's what your drunk monkey is telling you about, you're going to struggle with it. And it's going to take a long time. But you can fight through that. You can make it easier and easier and easier by learning to tell it, that voice, to be quiet, right? What is the number one thing that drunk monkey tells you, right? I'd love to hear it. You can stick it in the chat here. You can put it in, send me a Facebook message, private message, and let me know. I know some of the things that I struggle with, right? I already talked about, there are afternoons that drunk monkey tells me not to walk to go pick up my kids, which is kind of crazy because, like I said, I love my walk. So I don't know why sometimes that's been going through my head lately, but it has been, right? That's been my struggle just the last few weeks since school started, and I think part of that's getting into the new routine. That drunk monkey reminds me all day long about the peanut butter that's in my kitchen. All day long. And I have to fight through it and keep telling that drunk monkey, I don't want the peanut butter. It is not on my program right now. We'll be back in my program at some point, but right now it's not. I'm in fat burn, and I am this close to fat burn, right? I'll be in fat burn tomorrow. And I'm feeling good, and I'm not going to blow it over some peanut butter. Though the peanut butter sounds really good, but I'm not going to blow it over some peanut butter. It's not worth it. I have goals. I have my goals, and I want to get to them, and my goals are more important than the peanut butter in the kitchen, right? But I have to keep telling that monkey that, because that monkey keeps talking to me about how good that peanut butter is going to taste, right? So what lies does your drunk monkey tell you? I would love to hear it, right? And then we can remember, once we talk about what those are, we can talk them out of it, right? We can come up with that rational, real reason to be able to say, this is all lies. They're lies, right? Don't let that monkey lie to you, right? You're in control. You can do this, whatever it is, whatever your challenge is, right? Mine is food, and that's fine. But whatever your challenge is, you can get through it because it's all the same. It all ties into the same. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this can help you give a new thought process to those crazy voices that are in the back of your head. And I hope you know that you are not alone with those crazy voices, because we all have them. We all have them. That's human nature, right? That's the ego side of our brain. That's the drunk monkey, whatever you want to call it. We all have them. So knowing that and recognizing that makes it so much easier to fight through it. So I hope you have a wonderful night. I will see you back tomorrow. It will definitely not be this late because tomorrow is Friday and it's the Sabbath. Hey, Jennifer. So I will be back tomorrow afternoon. And I would also love to hear from you. You can send me a message privately, what you think about me going live earlier in the day and not waiting until 10, 11 o'clock at night. Because I know I have a whole bunch of people who listen live at night and who pick it up then the recording later, the next day. So I would love to hear your feedback as to timing, because I'm thinking about shifting my timing around. So I hope you have a great night, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye.